Hello everybody and welcome to my weekly countdown of the top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan. This week covering the dates September 18th to the 24th of 2017. We've had again a massive shift on the top 10 list compared to last week. Only one title remains on the top 10 that was there last week. It's not a very surprising title. However, the surprising part is that it is no longer the #1 best-selling title. But I'm pretty sure when we get there, you won't be too surprised with which title managed to dethrone it. So let's get started at number 10. We have... Oh, I should mention too that this seems to be a very good sales week in general. Like, these titles are all quite popular from what I can tell, not only just based on the reception a lot of them have in North America. There are quite a few licensed titles on this list this week, but also the fact that in the previous lists we've had top 10s that have sold, between 6,000 and 7,000 copies. Every single volume in the top 10 this week has sold at least 10,000 copies during the week. So again, it seems like a little bit of a stronger week, seems like some fairly popular titles. Again, part of that I'm basing on the fact that quite a few of them have been licensed in North America, or at the very least have anime that have been licensed in North America. So let's get into the list at number 10. With 10,755 copies sold, we have volume number 13 of Only Sense Online. Now this again is a VR MMO type game type light novel series. Yun is a novice MMO player who equipped only on popular skills that were labeled as garbage. However, soon after the official launch of the game, the NPCs stopped selling recovery potions. Everyone finally started to notice the importance of support magic and items. And that spells trouble for Yun as well as all the other support-based players. They receive orders for recovery potions from endless floods of players en masse. Some more aggressive players even go as far as forcing the support players to be their personal craftsmen. In order to prevent this from going out of hand, all the support players group together to form a community to keep things in order. I've read a bit online that says that this is a fairly light-hearted series, just kind of a funny, fun-go-lucky kind of MMO type based series. We do not have a license for either the light novel or the manga, and as far as I can tell, there's been no anime based on the series at all. At number 9, with 10,901 copies sold, we have volume 10 of Isekai wa Smartphone to Tomo ni. So, in another world with my smartphone. Now, of course, the anime just finished airing for this. It covered the first 3 volumes. That's according to the official translator, the English translator of the series. And so far, J-Novel Club, who holds the English license, has released 4 volumes. The 5th one is coming in October. So we're about halfway to what they have in Japan. And again, you can watch the anime. It is on Crunchyroll. So yeah, we're doing pretty well with, Another World with my smartphone. I've reviewed the first 2 volumes. I at least want to do the 3rd volume so I can then sit and watch the anime. It is a very light-hearted, a very light-hearted, very hard on its sleeve type isekai series. There's a certain level of charm to it because of that, in comparison to a lot of others that try to be a bit more edgier or darker or more serious. But yeah, I mean, it's really just a fun, cute little series, at least, based on the first 2 volumes that I have read. In the number 8 spot, with 10,992 copies sold, volume number 19 of Oda Nobuna no Yabou, or it's also known as Oda Nobuna's Ambition. We do not have a license for the light novel series. However, there was a 12-episode anime which aired July to September of 2012, and it is licensed in English by Sentai Filmworks. Suddenly finding himself in the Sengoku era, regular high school student Sagara Yoshiharu is about to be killed in the battlefield. He is saved by none other than the man who later becomes the infamous Toyotomi Hideyoshi, but at a cost to his life. With history completely changed because of Yoshiharu's actions, he tries to make things right again, but it seems that history is taking a different course than the one he learned in school. Oda Nobunaga is now a brilliant but young girl named Oda Nobuna. Yoshiharu starts working under her command to bring back history to its correct course and find his way back home to the present world. So not really an isekai, but one of those pulled back in history. We had a very similar type title last week on the list. So another sort of swept to another world, but in this case, historical fiction as opposed to purely fantasy. At number 7, with 13,688 copies sold, it is the first release of the spin-off from the Gamers light novel called Gamers DLC. I couldn't find a whole lot on this. If you aren't familiar with Gamers, the anime just finished airing again on Crunchyroll. They did stream it. And there was 12 episodes. Not too sure how many volumes of the Gamers, the original light novel series, that covered. I would guess probably 3 or 4 based on the average of what a 12 episodes series covers. But again, this is a spin-off. At least, I'm not sure if it's a spin-off or kind of a retelling. Again, I wasn't exactly sure. I tried Googling it in various ways, but looking up Gamers DLC, you can obviously guess I had a lot of trouble sorting through a lot of unrelated Google responses. I can tell you a lot about DLCs and games in general, though, wow. For the original series, the romantic comedy light novel series centers on the gaming lives of various high school students who play video games, including Keita Amano, a lonely young man who loves video games, Karen Tendo, the beautiful president of the video game club, Chiaki Hoshinomori, who constantly fights with Keita, and Tasuku Uehara, who puts on a facade of being satisfied with his life in the real world, but he in truth loves video games. I haven't finished watching the whole anime. I kind of broke my usual rule. Even though it's based on a light novel, I started watching it. It was cute. I kept watching it, but I haven't finished it yet. So again, no license for the original series, which pretty much makes it obvious that we have no license for this, especially when it is brand new. At number 6, with 14,577 copies sold, volume 26 of Hidan no Aria, or it's also known as Aria the Scarlet Ammo. The light novel, this is kind of a weird situation. So the light novel and the manga both appear to have been licensed by a company called Digital Manga Group. But I can only find the first 2 volumes of the light novel series, and oddly enough, I could only find the 3rd volume of the manga. So I don't know if this is something like a smaller company bought this license years ago and they've just never bothered. They didn't have the money or the resources to keep bringing it out. I don't know. So I don't imagine that we're going to get any more of this anytime soon because the rights are probably all in a legal mess at this point. But that said, the series is about Tokyo Butte High School. It was a special school where armed detectives, also known as Butte, are being brought up. Toyama Kinji is a sophomore student who has the unique body which activates a super mode when it is stimulated by something. He tries to hide it from others in order to live a peaceful life, but trouble came to find him when he became a victim of a bombing incident where he met the Butte High Assault Department elite, Aria H. Kanzaki. So again, I'm not familiar with this series, and it really doesn't look like we're going to get this in English officially anytime soon, because I have no idea what's going on. I tried to do a little bit of research on this digital manga group. It looks like they kind of branched off more into like sort of eshi type titles, hentai type titles under other banners. Their blog, the last time it was posted on was early 2016. So I don't know what's going on with the license of that one, but like I said, only 2 volumes and they're getting 26 in Japan have been released, so we seem to be pretty much out of luck there. At number 5, with 15,955 copies sold, we have volume 15 of Tokyo Ravens. Now, the manga is available directly from the Japanese publisher in English via Bookwalker's site, and the light novels have not been licensed. There was a 24-episode anime which ran October to March of 2013 and 2014, and it has been licensed by Funimation. Tsuchi Mikado Harutora was born into a prestigious Onmyoji family, but he can't see spirit energy. Therefore, he's been enjoying a peaceful daily life with his friends at an Onmyo branch school. One day, his childhood friend, Tsuchi Mikado Natsume, heir to the head family, suddenly appears. Will this cause his destiny to spring into motion? You have to think that if the company that publishes the manga is one of the primary stakeholders in Bookwalker, and they're releasing the manga in English through Bookwalker. Bookwalker is now releasing light novels. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually see this one at some point. At number 4, with 18,157 copies sold, it's volume number 8 of Imouto Sai Ireba Li, or better known as A Sister's All You Need. Better known as because my pronunciations are trash. Now, this actually is funny because Volume 7 was on the list. It was probably one of the first 1 or 2 lists that I did on this channel, doing this sort of weekly top 10. This one was just recently licensed by Yanon. They announced this at Anime Expo. There's no release date yet. Yanon has up to their February releases on their website. So far, this is not in any of those, so it's probably going to be March or later of 2018 before we get it. There is an anime premiering in October for the series. No idea how many light novels that's going to cover, obviously. We probably won't know until it's actually complete. So, again, it is a series that we are getting in English. I do believe I saw Crunchyroll is going to be streaming this, although I may be wrong. I'm just pretty sure that I saw somebody was going to be streaming it. It's getting more complicated with a lot more companies doing anime streaming nowadays. At number 3, with 18,668 copies sold, volume number 14 of ReZero, Starting Life in Another World. You know, if you watch this channel, you know that I am in love with that series. I've read the 4 that we have available. The 5th one is coming out in, I believe, October. So, October? October or November? It's coming out very soon. I think it's in October. Yeah, it's October that it's coming out, the 5th volume. So again, the light novel, of course, licensed via Yanon. The anime available on Crunchyroll. The anime covered volumes, I believe it was 1 to 8. I'm pretty sure it was. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. It's been a while since we've talked about this one. But there you go. So volume 14 taking the number 3 spot. Which I'm sure then you can guess what is probably number 2, with 29,221 copies sold. Volume 20 of Sword Art Online. There's really no need to talk about this one. We've got the manga, we have the light novels, we've got progressive, we have the anime, and there's more anime coming. Of course, Ordinal Scale, which is a standalone. It was written exclusively for film by Reki Kawahara. That's coming out, I believe, very soon on DVD. And they have announced, apparently, in the licensed, rental copies in Japan that were released, that the Alicization arc is coming. So, I mean, no big surprise. They said a while back that as long as there were Sword Art Online books that they would be doing anime based on them. So, no big surprise. We do have volume 11, which is the most recent volume released in English. So, you know, we're 9 volumes behind. It's not too bad, I guess. It's not too bad. And then finally at number 1. Again, I don't think any of you will be really surprised, especially when I talked about this in my last video, my last countdown of this top 10. At the number 1 spot, with 112,840 copies sold, it is volume number 12 of My Youth Romantic Comedy Is Wrong As I Expected. Not really a big surprise. This is, of course, been a very popular series in general, but it's been 2 years almost since the last volume was published. So people have been waiting quite a while for this series to continue. And I saw an article, I'm pretty sure I retweeted it, but I saw an article that said that there will be 2 more volumes of this series and then that's it. That it will end with, I guess it'll be volume number 14, will be the last book in the series, and hopefully they'll come out a little bit faster than volume 12, which took 2 years. Not that I'm one to talk, but so yeah, so now we do of course have this series being published in English by Yen On. They've released 3 volumes at this point. Funny enough, I'm actually just finishing up reading volume number 3. That'll be my next review after this video. So, really good slice of life comedy type. I find it a really bittersweet type series. You can check out my reviews on them for more information on that. But again, obviously very, very popular series. You can tell by the sales. And this is a series that people have waited for 2 years and yet showed up in droves to pick up the next volume. So, there you go. So those are the top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan for the week of September 18th to the 24th. It'd be interesting to see what happens next week. I really don't know what's coming out next week in terms of new releases, so don't know if we're going to see sort of a similar status quo in terms of titles, or see if there's going to be some back and forth with My Youth Romantic Comedy and Sword Art. We'll see what happens. So if you love light novels and you're new to the channel, you should consider subscribing. I do this top 10 countdown every single week, and I also do reviews of 2 to 3 volumes of light novels every single week as well. Thank you all for joining me in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.